So the first thing you're gonna wanna do, so I've got my new shoes, they're brand new. I prefer that to using old shoes, just because this is gonna not have any dirt on it. You can prep it pretty easily. I've got sandpaper for scratching up the bottom of the shoes just a little bit. I've got Barge all-purpose cement. I've used this for lots of repairs, and I've used it for other repairs in my house too, like putting doorknobs back on and things like that. And I figure I'm gonna run out of it, so I got another pack. And then my suede. This suede is fairly thick. It's a really thick option. You can get these in remnants too. They don't have to, they're gonna get dirty, they're gonna turn colors. I don't think it matters what color, but this is a lot thicker. And I also have a pair of really nice scissors. I bought these. They're Ginger, maybe? And they're specifically meant for cutting leather. This was an indulgent purchase that probably didn't need to be made. Okay, so step one, I'm gonna take my shoe and I'm going to scruff up the bottom of it just a little bit, just to give it a couple more places of adhesion. I shouldn't be doing that, or whatever. Okay, so just to give it a little bit more adhesion. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it on to the leather. And sorry, I gotta sit down for this part. I'm going to very precisely mark where the shoe goes. I'm gonna press down. You don't want this to overhang, and you also don't want to have a little lip of plastic around the outside that your dance will get, you know, your spins will get caught in and everything like that. So as you can see, there's a nice little outline. I have to just double check it, make sure it looks good. Do that for both shoes. Just do one for now. Oh, I need to double check this bottom part. See, I've got two different lines there. So if I line this up here, which line do I want? I want the outside line. Okay. Then I'm gonna cut it out. I'm going to attempt to cut right on the inside of that pencil mark that I made. And this leather is hefty, it's nice. Okay, I'm gonna pause it. You don't need to watch all. All right, so that's done. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this upside down. I'm gonna match it up. Make sure it looks good. Make sure that there's nothing I need to cut off. Not sure about this little bit right here. So I'm gonna take a look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna mark it and fix it. I don't want excess hanging over. I'll use the scissors correctly this time. Okay. And I'm happy with that. I might have gone in a little bit too far on that side. And again, like, if you are unhappy with it, buy a little extra, because it might take once or twice for your first time. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. Now the next part is a little bit painstaking. I'm gonna use, oh, where'd it go? One second. Okay, so I'm gonna use a throwaway paintbrush, and I'm also gonna put something down to protect my little desk here. And then the next step is to paint the cement onto both the chrome leather and onto the shoe bottom. So this needs to be painted on evenly. Oh, is that gonna work? Yeah, there we go. Come on. Maybe I should use the other stuff. Needs to be painted on evenly and thoroughly, and then you gotta let it sit for 15 minutes to get it. I don't know that I like that. I don't know if I like how that works, how that looks. So I'm gonna pull that off. Ew, gross. Yeah, I don't want it to be bunchy. I don't like that. So let's open the new one. Okay, I forgot how much this stuff stinks. There we go. See, that's how it's supposed to go on. So I'm gonna use this. I've said so like 4,000 times. And then I'm going to paint this on and make sure it's all the way around. All the way to the edges. All over. Nice, a nice little layer there. Any place you miss will come unglued, so you don't want that. And also this stuff stinks, so doing it in, it's probably caustic. Doing it in a ventilated area is ideal. Trying not to get it on your hands is also ideal. And making that layer nice and even. There. Okay, so I did it on that. I'm also going to do it on the base of the shoe. There's a little bit of sanding grit there. There we go. This will stain it yellow if you're not careful. So try to be careful. Sticky. Okay. So we can kind of set our timer for 15 minutes. Paint this on. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to get it into all the little crevices because those are not going to touch. But all the way around the outside is really important. And then as much on these little stars and diamonds as you can. This will ruin your paintbrush though, so make sure it's a throwaway paintbrush and not one that you care about. Do not use your favorite painting brush for that. All right, now we're gonna wait 15